Dear Frank, it's very nice being invited by you and to come back in Slovenia, a country that I love very much. I did discover Slovenia 15 or 17 years ago, and I did see a country of brave people with good wine, which is important for a French. And you are a typically dynamic and moving and hardworking country. There is only one thing that I have to disagree. I'm not a policy maker, I'm a policy dreamer. I am a professor. I spend my life on the moon. Of course, from time to time, I have to come back to Earth to eat something, to chat with friends. As you have friendly faces, you will be my friend, and I know that we will get food at exactly noon 30, so I count on it. I will give you my vision because I am a dreamer. So it's a vision. It's not a scientific work. It's not something I can promise you being true, but I see things that way today. I will start with gas and then I will jump to electricity. First, gas then. What are the EU market trends for me in the gas industry? Still, we have a very low demand, and we do not see how demand can grow. And with the global European industry crisis and the low usage of CCGTs to generate electricity, gas won't grow. But of course, the sources of gas will shift from Europe to external places or from one external to the other, but there is no growth there. Second, in this context, we got a quiet but significant revolution, the decoupling of gas from oil index contracts. And this is a revolution nobody was able to expect 6 years ago. 6 years ago, we were thinking the opposite. We are sticking to long-term contracts for decades, but we are seeing that not. We did see that Norway and Netherlands did quit oil indexation, and TTF today as NBP, the two marketplaces for gas, the two big, are quitting Russia and Algeria. And all consequences are not obtained yet, but the consequences will come also in the future. And third, we have a gas target model. Of course, is not implemented yet. Of course, there is many differences from one country to the other, as shown by the KEMA report a few weeks ago. But it is coming, and we will end up with a kind of European gas market. And this, plus the decoupling from oil, will produce for years and years many, many consequences. Which ones, I do not know. You have to care, but I do not know. I am on the moon. You are on Earth. Second, do we have in this industry margin for a bold European policy? Well, we have some. We should continue to decouple, and we should continue to build a gas target model, knowing that we will have differences. In the Southeast Europe, we won't have the same market model than in Northwest. So there is margin for policy, a bold one. Will this policy guarantee us low prices and stability? Not at all. That's very disappointing, but true in my mind. We cannot guarantee low prices because Europe is price taker. We do not do gas pricing. We take the prices. We can be smart enough to take prices where they are better, let's say Norway, Netherlands vis-à-vis Algeria and Russia. But we cannot choose to get the US price. The US price can be given to us, but we can go to take it. Second, the US price, the internal price for gas, is not looking at us, but rather at Asia. We have the Shell boom and the Asia dash for gas. So we won't make the price for gas for decades. We will have to look at Asian for demand and Shell gas boom, even a boom in China from Shell gas. But we won't make the price, and therefore we cannot guarantee any stability inside the EU regarding gas. But that's life. because we do it with oil since decades. But if we can do the same for gas, that's it. If gas can flow freely inside Europe, we will get the best price possible and the best stability possible, not more. Electricity, but the picture is half the same and half entirely different. In electricity, the trend for demand is not low, it is negative. The demand for electricity is shrinking in the marketplace because most of the electricity now is generated outside the market. So market-based electricity is smaller, smaller, and smaller. That's totally depressing for people generating market-based electricity. In this condition, we can even not foresee, at least in my brain, we cannot foresee a wave of electrical cars widening the demand, etc. Because to do that, we should have cheap electricity, and we are not on this trend yet. Maybe we will never be, but we are not on the trend for cheap electricity. Second, do we have a decoupling from electricity, market electricity, from long-term contracting indexed to a kind of oil? No. In electricity, we have not. That's totally the opposite. We are coupling all our new generation to long-term contract with fixed price. We call it feed-in tariffs. And they are indexed on oil or gold, the way you want, because these technologies for the moment are still expensive. So we are giving oil price or gold price to this new font of energy. So we are totally coupled in it. Of course, you cannot see it on the wholesale market, because on the wholesale market, that's the opposite. The price is depressed by cheap renewable, and the price can even go to zero. But on the retail, you see it, because on the retail, you pay the wholesale price plus the grid, forget the grid, plus the feed-in tariff. So prices for electricity are jumping in many countries. In UK, they are expecting a doubling of prices from 2007 to 2020. In Germany, you pay more for feed-in tariff than you pay for wholesale electricity, much more. Electricity target model, we have it, it works. We can reasonably say next year, 2014, that we will have an open European coupled market and blah, blah, and blah, blah. But it does not matter because this target model is dying. Why? Because of renewable push. Renewable produce electricity at zero marginal cost, so you cannot have a market-based sector with a zero price. Second, feeding is still anarchy. Any country can have a different system, tariff, purpose than the other country. And third, countries are protecting the way they can the old thermal plants with capacity markets, but all these capacity markets are different from one country to the other. So we will get an electricity market next year, but it's already quite dead. Will this give us low prices? Do we have margin for a bold policy? Enormous. Everything happening in the electricity sector is made by us. All electricity sector is doing what it is asked to do. If you don't like the prices in electricity sector, you don't like the electricity policy. If you like the price, you like the policy. If you want stability, do a policy with stability. If you want instability, do a policy with instability. Everything we have in the electricity sector, it is what we do, or what we did, but what we did and what we do. So the margin for policy is enormous because it is a policy-driven sector still. Will we keep the existing policy? Nobody knows. I guess that even Chancellor Merkel doesn't know today, but she will know at a certain point because we all know that the German industry is furious with the existing energy policy in Europe and in Germany. We know also that in UK, we have a kind of policy riot against the prices for energy. Us on the continent, we find that the price of gas is better, but in UK, they don't find it better. They find it outrageous when they look at the US, and they don't like the price for electricity. And maybe you did notice that Miliband could become prime minister because of the division on the right wing in UK. Miliband did tell, I will freeze energy prices. Wow, the country having invented energy-based, market-based energy, this country could freeze the prices. So it's a political rebellion against what has been our electricity policy. So room for changes are again big, but it won't give us any type of price, because of course, even if we quit a little bit renewable, if we stop a little bit renewable, the price will be made by coal and gas, and then we are back to what are the prices for coal and gas. So I'm afraid that the electricity sector won't offer us significantly lower prices and significant stability in the future. That's my vision. And I hope it will be challenged by people from the industry, because from the moon we do what we can, but we are not always the more accurate.